Okay, so hi, this is Mana. Let's talk about how to cheat on pixel art on Clips to Japan. I'll be making a Pagedolls for this topic and I'll be using CSV Pro. You can use the X version as well, works exactly the same. The clip files or project files will be available for download so you can follow along or you can try it out yourself. Let's go here. First things first, let's open our image. It has to be an image with no BG or a character separated with the background. This image has already been cut into pieces for animation purposes because I'll animate this as well. You can use an uncut or just a regular drawing, it works exactly the same. So let's turn this into pixel art or Pagedolls. First, let's crop this because there's a lot of empty spaces right here. Get your selection tool, rectangle, and get the area that you want to be cropped. Then go to edit, crop. Okay, this is too close. Alright, so next step, let's resize this. The original image is around 1.2 to 1.3k pixels, so let's lower this down. Go to edit, change image resolution. I'm going to 50 pixels for the height. Click OK when you're done. Alright, now our image is small. Let's pixelate this now, starting with the hair. Let's go to Filter, Effect, go to Artistic. When you first open this is what it will look like. So let's talk about this. First one is Process. What do you want to process? Do you want to edit color and lines, or color alone, or lines alone? For this topic, we'll use color and lines, okay? Line thickness, the lower the value, the thinner the lines. The higher the value, the thicker the lines are. In here, I recommend scrolling this bar so you can see what works best for you. For me, 11 works best here. Line simplicity, this is like the line details. The lower the value, the less details. The higher the value, the greater the detail. I also went 11 on this one. Line density, I think this is the weight of the lines. Like example on here, if I increase the number, the lines that are almost invisible suddenly appears. I stick with 15 on this one because I don't want those small lines to appear. Next is line opacity. This is the opacity of the line. The higher the value, the darker the lines will be. Lower the value, it looks like there's almost no line. I went 30 for now. Okay, next, line anti-aliasing. I'm gonna mess this up. This is like the line smoothness. The higher the value, the smoother the lines it becomes. Lower the value, it becomes sharper. I'm going to stick with 1 because I'm trying to mimic a pixel art. So I need to make it look like pixel, which have sharp lines or hard edges. Then I'll just go back here to line opacity to change it to somewhat lower, maybe around 16. Okay, next is color blending. This is like the blending of colors. The lower the value, the less blending, so you get like a lot of colors in here. The higher the value, the greater the amount of blending, and you get less colors. If you're trying to do Pagedolls, go 50% or higher. Next is color blur. This literally blurs the colors. The higher the value, the higher the blur amount. I stick to 1 in this since I need everything sharp, especially the colors, and so I don't really need this. Number of colors. This is the one that helps us create a pixel effect because this gives us the capacity to lower down the colors of our drawing. The lower the value, the less color. The higher the value, the higher the amount of colors. And I went 11 on this one. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Are we done? No, we're not. Next, let's go to another filter. Let's go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. This is like our only sharpen tool that we can control, so we'll use this. We're only going to focus on radius and strength. Basically ignore threshold and leave it at 1. So now let's go to strength. The higher the value, the darker the details become. I basically just played around on this area and try adjusting on what makes a line more sharper. It doesn't matter if it makes a line darker, we can fix that later, okay? Alright, so just play around with this. And in the end, I went around 15% on radius and 33 on strength. Again, we need to make the lines look more sharper, okay? And when you're done, just click OK. So this is before and this is after. Okay, we're not done. Let's try and make the lines, basically the lines outside, sharper. Let's turn the background white so we can see better. And let's zoom in on this one. With the layer still selected, go to layer, duplicate layer. Okay, now we have two layers of the same, and the outer line looks more sharper now, right? Alright, now hit Ctrl E or merge to the layer below. And that's it. You can do it as many times as you want. So this is actually okay as it is, but if you want to retouch, like example here on the bangs or the lines on the face got too dark, so let's fix that. Make a new raster layer above the area that you want to fix or above the layer that you want to fix. In here is in the hair, then click it to the layer below. Now get your gradient tool, foreground to transparency, you can also use the brush. Now get the skin tone of the character, hold Alt on your keyboard and select the color. You can use whatever gradient shape that you want. I'm going ellipse, and just make gradient stroke on the bangs, okay? You can change the blending mode if you want. Normal and screen are my usual go-to. This step makes the dark or the heavy lines look lighter, okay? When you're done, remember to merge them together or Ctrl E on your keyboard. So this is before and this is after. And then I just do this on all the remaining parts. Okay, so this next step is optional, but I do this to make the line or the outer line of each element look sharp. You can see here, some pixels look like they're 50% or less opacity, so we'll work on that. Okay, so with the layer selected, get your marker tool. Use whatever tool that you want, but just make sure to check your anti-aliasing. It should be set to none, or the farthest one to the left side of your screen. I'm using a default brush, the marker pen, then just select the color, hold Alt, then choose the color of the pixel, and just draw using your marker tool. Okay, just focus on the outer lines, you don't have to work on the inner ones, okay? This isn't a traditional pixel art anyway. This Pagedolls, and Pagedolls are sometimes quite detailed depending on the character. Alright, here on the face or the head area, I'm going to remove the patches of colors using the blend tool. Okay, so I'm not an expert on Pagedolls, but I've seen some people use smooth colors like this while retaining the other pixelated elements. So like these shadows on the hair will retain that, okay? And then I just edited the inner lines, like their color is like a gradation of the outer line and it's bothering me. So just to get the color closest to them, and then I paint them over, making the line or the outer line look thinner, okay? You can also erase them if you don't want to paint them over. I usually just use the same marker tool, but this time I use this transparent color right here to erase. So just continue editing the outer lines until you're satisfied. And that's it. That's how you do a pixel effect on Clip Studio Paint. Next topic, I'll animate this pixel art on CSP Pro.